evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, May 27, 2026. Donald J. Trump and the Mossad seem to be cornering Pedro Sanchez and the Socialist Party of Spain because someone has opened Pandora's box. And clear evidence has started to emerge of criminal organization, influence peddling, and connections with organized crime groups in Venezuela. And on top of that, members of the Gaza flotilla kidnapped in Libya. What more could there be, family? Your likes, your comments. Let's get started. What more could there be, family? What more could there be with what's happening right now in Spain with Peter Jones, Zapatero, Joliero? What's going on right now? This is unthinkable. I already knew this was going to happen. In fact, I think on my Twitter, if someone wants to look for it, I know it's there. I can vouch that it's there, that it shows up there. Weeks ago. It's been when Netanyahu came out and said, Gianitin desio, Kidio, we're not going to allow what Spain is doing. I said, get ready. Rey está soñó, nos hemos equivocado. You're up next. It's written somewhere. We weren't wrong. What's happening right now in Spain is nothing short of a national disgrace. It's an international disgrace. Just imagine, as Alandete said on his Twitter a little while ago, he said, can you imagine if the police, the FBI, showed up to investigate the Democratic Party headquarters, corruption cases, where Joe Biden's wife is under investigation and is going to be tried. Biden's brother, even the former party president as well. Imagine the scale of this. It's unbelievable. It's outrageous. But on top of that, Jotar had also been announcing it, quote unquote, and I want to thank him for his raid. Thank you so much, Fina, for that raid. Lots of encouragement to everyone on their channel. You also have to check her out because she's doing some amazing investigative work on connections between China and Hawaii. Again, the Spanish government under Zapatero had connections with China. An email appeared today. They were negotiating with a British airline to take away 8 tons of gold from Venezuela. 8 tons of gold from this Venezuela. People talk a lot in Mexico. Simbao says that Captain Hernan Cortés, that the Spanish looted. How about that? Well, your ideological friends, Zapatero, Avalos, are looting Venezuela's gold. The gold, sapphires, precious stones. You're going to see it all tonight. It's outrageous. It's outrageous. But it's super important tonight. Your likes, your super chats, comments, they're going to try to censor this show, just like they did with the other one. We already know that when we talk about this riffraff, things get messy here. Today, the Central Operational Unit of the Civil Guard, the investigation unit is one of the most advanced in Europe. It has been searching the headquarters of the Spanish Socialist Party. They have been searching the headquarters of the Civil Guard in Madrid. The Civil Guard. Investigating the Civil Guard itself. Because it seems that Pedro Sanchez's party, as there are indications, had set up an operation to persecute police officers who were investigating crimes committed by the Socialist Party. Picture The police going to the central headquarters themselves to conduct the search. There's been a lot of talk. Sorry, my throat is really bad these days. There's been a lot of talk about whether there was. Today, the UCO spent 12 hours turning Ferraz upside down. Now we're going to read the judge's order, where they say it's a summons, but that the search will be carried out. And now we're going to explain what happened inside, what took place. Well, kidnapped too. There are a significant number of European citizens who have joined a land convoy and have been kidnapped in Libya. But that's not the funny part. The funny thing is that the organizers of their land convoy are accusing Israel of the fact that jihadist groups have kidnapped this whole little group. You see there, participants of the caravan who have disappeared. He asks him for proof of life. Their status, alive or not, is unknown. There is a Spanish citizen, Alicia Armesto Núñez. Personally, even though I don't share the ideology of these people, I don't identify with them, but as a responsible person, as, of course, which is listened to by a few million people every month. I demand the immediate release of all of them and that they return to their home countries under the best possible conditions. It shows. And now we're going to see it. What's happening with the flotilla? This shows that Israel is not wrong when it prevents these people from reaching Gaza. Because if they reached Gaza, they would end up kidnapped by some militia that would demand a ransom in exchange for their freedom. This is no joke. I'm not going to judge whether they deserve it or not. I'm not a judge of anything. But I want those people to come back home. It's that simple. We're not like them. And this has to serve as a lesson for them to learn. What bothers me most about this story is this. Please listen. It seems incredible to me.
Urgent video. 10 activists have been kidnapped in eastern Libya by militias allied with Zionism.
Militias allied with Zionism. And if they go to the Amazon and they're kidnapped by an isolated tribe from the Amazon jungle, well, then it'll be a Zionist tribe. No, he was freed by the people you defend, jihadists.
These 10 activists are from the Global Sumo Convoy, the land division of the Global Sumo Flotilla, which included dozens of trucks with humanitarian supplies, with ambulances, with technical equipment aimed at the reconstruction of Gaza to try to, well...
There are no ambulances or equipment left. They've taken it. They have kept everything in Libya. But you guys, what do these people think? That they can enter a country that is in the middle of a civil war, full of jihadist groups selling weapons on the black market, kidnapping Westerners? They think they can get in there with a Palestinian flag, cross the Maghreb, and reach Rafah. It's crazy.
To ease the dire situation Palestinians face in the Gaza Strip.
Load the ambulances onto a ship, send it to the port of Ashdod, and Israel brings them into Gaza. They've been doing this for 3 years now.
The convoy planned to travel across North Africa to the Rafah crossing in Egypt, and upon arrival...
You all are going to arrive there. They think it's just them who left Damascus, conquering all of North Africa until they reached the Iberian Peninsula. They're out of their minds.
In eastern Libya, there are military forces and militias that have connections with Zionism.
But what connections with Zionism? Tejitas. What connections with Zionism? They are jihadis.
They kidnapped the 10 people who were leading the negotiations. Among them is our colleague Alicia Hermesto from the Journalists Union. We haven't heard anything about their situation since Monday and don't know how they are. So we're making demands of all authorities, including the Spanish authorities.
Now you're going there to protest. Why not all go to Libya and protest? Organize a flotilla to Libya.
And we also call on the Libyan authorities to immediately release all the activists who are currently being held hostage.
No, the funny thing about this story is, Israel will eventually have to go rescue them. They'll have to send Sayeret to find out in the hut where they've put them. Primavera to free them. This would really be the last straw. Zionist jihadist groups in Libya. It's just that I want to stay with these wonderful people. Well, we're bringing some life to this because they've called for a demonstration. And this is what they've managed to gather.
We split into two groups. Everyone, please get together. Everyone who's here, so it doesn't look empty.
So it doesn't look like there's nobody here. They muted the video today, so it doesn't seem like no one is here.
Everyone, please gather together. Everyone who's here, gather together so it doesn't look empty.
Of course, these activists had recorded a liberation video. Excuse me for saying this. It's funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's funny, but it's not funny. There are people currently at risk of dying. There's no proof of life from them. There's no contact at all. This girl, who's from Poland, has a name and then took a Muslim name. It's fine. People can do what they want with their lives. Well, this girl had recorded a video in case Israel kidnapped her. Everyone in the photo, including those in the mosaic, has a recorded video. No. And they took a frame from that video where their passports appear. But the video wasn't made for this. The video was made by this organization, Sumut Maghreb Flotilla, which on social media is dedicated to uploading videos of jihadists. Curious, isn't it? They took the passport frame to tell the Libyan jihadis to release them. Well, thank you for putting a price on each of them. For the Spaniards, they're going to ask for $2 million. For the Americans, they're going to ask for $10 million. And the Italians, I think they were around $4 or $6 million. For the Tunisian, they're not going to ask for anything. And the Argentinians, well, let's see how they get out of this. I'm really sorry. I say it with all my heart. I hope these people are released as soon as possible. Please raise awareness. I'm not going to discuss if they deserve it. I would never do that. This isn't like that. I'd never do something like that. Like be happy about anyone getting hurt. But to me, it seems like a noteworthy fact, right? How is it possible that those who are supposed to help their Palestinian brothers end up being kidnapped by jihadis? And well, how did this happen in the Sirte area? Apparently, from what I've read briefly, they approached a checkpoint to talk to the jihadis who were at the checkpoint. I don't know who it was. I'm not going to say who from the group. I've heard some names, but I can't confirm or deny this. But that a certain person from this group, you're seeing in the photo, a girl, a woman approached to negotiate with the jihadists so they would let them pass. And the jihadists said, yes, yes, thank you for coming. Get out of the vehicles and go inside. We're going to negotiate. Well, you're just left stunned. These people think they're good. I'm saying the jihadists are good people, and everyone in Gaza is wonderful. Also, tonight in Gaza, they tried to take out 2 more. The IDF blew up an entire building tonight in Gaza. It seems like things are going smoothly for the IDF as they keep hunting down Hamas targets without stopping. Well, as I was saying, these people go around the world with their virtue signaling, their LGBT flags, and all their paraphernalia, thinking that with these guys they're going to get there, just because they're making a flotilla to free Palestine. They're going to let them through. Well, now the organizer of their flotilla and this whole organization starts making phone calls. They start calling. The relatives are desperate. The relatives are desperate because no one is answering. They have cut off communications. There is no connection at all. One. Well, breaking news. Breaking news. 1 second, we have breaking news. That's right, we're live. 11:41, about to reach May 28, 2026. I was about to say February 28, I just remembered. What happened on February 28? What a day. By the way, there's no agreement. There's no agreement. There's no agreement with Iran. No, relax. People who are already nervous, relax. There's going to be a war. Patience. Breaking news.
Welcome to a new esteemed experto.
This is the new Fafo. For those who don't know him, he's the replacement for Saleh. Until he comes up with $10 million to pay Hamas. If he doesn't pay, they'll get rid of him. That's what happened to Fafo. They got rid of Fafo because he owed them money. He owed them money.
To Eid al-Mubarak. Well,
They're at the hole from the bunker buster munition that went in. So now we know what kind of ammunition it is.
be Allah wa ni'ma al-wakil. Allah wa ni'ma al-wakil.
There is no protector but Allah. That's what he's saying in Arabic. Dad? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Oh. Sorry, I hadn't seen it. No, I hadn't seen it. Forgive me. Minute 18, please, moderators. Remind me of the timestamp later. Minute 18. Thank you.
No, it's just that. Look,
Well, who was it? Who was it? Who? Ifaldin al-Bik, commander of the Hamas Northern Brigade in Gaza. Eliminated. Eliminated. That's it. Sorry. I also offer my condolences. Today I'm feeling sentimental. Very sentimental. I'm feeling sentimental, and today I feel like offering my condolences to everyone, nothing else. We're sorry too. We also feel the loss of the people from Hamas. Come on, let's mourn everyone. By the way, today it was on TV when he had already recovered. Once they had already recovered loss. The internet in Tehran, in Iran, reports of sexual abuse against women detained in prison since January. This January, no organization has come out to offer their condolences to the abused women there in Iran. Well, what happened to Peter Jones? Let's get to the main topic now. We should stop talking about flotillas and lost sheep in the Libyan desert. Peter Jones. Fantastic. Moderators, please be patient with the chat today. I know what's going to happen now. Whenever we bring out Pope Leon, this place becomes a hive of activity. There they are. How's it going, man? Wow, look at what you've got going on. Do you want to confess a few little sins? Come on, confess, Pedro. Tell me, how many accounts are there at the Vatican Bank? Do we have something to be afraid of? Are they going to find out about us? Pedro trying to smile there, knowing what's coming down on him at that moment. Right, while Pedro was doing this, the UCO guys were arriving at Ferraz. But you'll see it. You'll see. He took his wife along. He took his wife along too, just in case they have to beatify her. They have to make Begonia a saint. Tremendous, tremendous. Now you're going to see. Now you're going to see, relax. This is coming in strong today. Pedro and Pope Leo the 14th are very worried. Very worried. Family, we're live and need more likes, or the live stream might be taken down soon. You may see it happen if it hasn't already. Pedro is very worried because of artificial intelligence, together with the Pope. The Pope says that we need to disarm artificial intelligence because, of course, with artificial intelligence, you can get information in seconds. Artificial intelligence can tell you the scandals inside the Vatican Bank, the scandals inside the church, the scandals inside the Socialist Party. Artificial intelligence is dangerous because it gives you information. And when it loses control on the part of the political establishment that exists, well, it's risky. And now they want to control AI. They want to control AI. Pedro Sanchez, government of Spain. Don't miss it. It's wonderful. Sublime.
Much more than what I think is right. I don't think there's enough reason. There are no reasons to change that position. And regarding indeed the requests that are currently being made at the headquarters of the Socialist Party as well, that's why I was delayed, because I didn't know about them. I had to ask, what is going on?
What does his face look like? Worn out?
Exactly what was happening. And I think that's an important nuance, because before it was the complete opposite. We had precisely a political organization that used the state's law enforcement and security forces, as well as the justice system, to obstruct judicial investigations in this case. Well, apparently we're talking about a request. We're not talking about a search. I don't want to. As Pedro says, it's not a search. Get ready. Let's say I don't want to downplay the seriousness of the investigation, which right now either.
The National Court is
currently ongoing. And therefore, what I can tell the Spanish people is that there will not be elections, full cooperation with the justice system. Also, if in the end we are talking about the case of the former member Leire, obviously decisions were made regarding her. Immediately, when this whole case came to light more than a year ago. And therefore, well, justice moves at its own pace. Let's respect the justice system and cooperate with it. And of course, the commitment of the Socialist Party, if there are, well, new irregularities. I mean...
Well, new ones, he says. New ones.
We will act with the same forcefulness as we have acted before. This.
The Mossad is going to un destrozo. This guy, along with the FBI and the CIA, they're really messing him up. If the Bible were to be rewritten, could Pedro Sanchez be included? Would there be a book about Pedro Sanchez? I'm serious. I don't mean to offend anyone.
But I also want to emphasize the following, and that is...
And that is, you've lied. Let's look at the judge's order where it says whether it's a judicial request, if it's not a judicial request. And what a judicial request is, because people don't understand, of course, and people, especially those who aren't from Spain, even less or not at all. From this whole story, you'll understand what these judicial requests are and where this is going. Well, today, the Guardia Civil Central Operational Unit, the team that's in charge of investigating the case of illegal financing of the Socialist Party, and also of the network that seems to have attempted to buy prosecutors, judges, police officers, politicians, and media outlets to cover up corruption cases within the Socialist Party. Today, they showed up there and had a warrant to enter a judicial request. And if they refused the judicial request, they would search the place themselves. Speaker, gente scenario. What does this mean? Let's imagine the following scenario. The UCO arrives at the headquarters of the Socialist Party, the Central Operational Unit. They arrive there, the civil guard, the investigative agents. They get to the reception and deliver the judge's document. We come in the name of this court, for this case, for this and that, to do this. We want access to all the offices. We want access to all the computer systems. We want access to all the safes or secure offices and parking lots, garages, places where any kind of document or evidence can be stored. The members of the Socialist Party were caught off guard. They didn't expect it. They were caught in their pajamas or even naked. They didn't expect this today. They have not refused to allow that request to be made. And the UCO members started working for 12 hours. 12 hours inside the headquarters of the Socialist Party, not just there. They have been at Zerdan's house. They have been at Gaspar Zarias' house. They have been at the central office of the Civil Guard. This is crazy. This is crazy. If they had refused, the UCO agents would have automatically carried out the judge's, in this case, to carry out the search. I'm not the one saying it, because I've been criticized for this today on Twitter. They've said, no, it's not a search. No, gentlemen. Point 6 of the order. And it's written right here. The entry and search will be carried out at the management office of the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, located at 68 Ferraz Street, 6870 Madrid, days between 7 a.m. on May 27 and 7 a.m. on May 28, 2026. This resolution is for the purpose described below. It also proceeds to authorize entry into garages, private parking spaces, including vehicles parked in them, and any other premises, such as storage rooms, warehouses, heating or cooling rooms, rooftops, attics, or any safe, vault, or anything similar. That is, the judge has given the UCO the authority to search even the bathroom pipes at the Ferraz headquarters. Everything. A judicial order, but they're going to carry out a search. That is, the agents themselves have taken the initiative of saying, we're going to go in here, there. You're going to open this drawer for me. You're going to open that drawer for me. We're going to clone all the hard drives. We're going to take them all. They've taken everything. They've cloned everything. But of course, the media started saying this, and that it wasn't a search, that it wasn't this, that it wasn't that it wasn't anything like that. Well, we're going to see it. But before that, who better to explain it? It's this journalist. Sent it. He refuses to call early elections, even though he doesn't have a parliamentary majority. Well, Pedro Sanchez says he won't call elections.
You'll allow me the joke, right? There are some colleagues who obviously are asking me to call early elections.
Felipe González is Spain's former prime minister.
Because he knows that I'm going to have a larger parliamentary majority in the government and in Congress, so I can govern much more calmly. And I appreciate it.
But look at what the narcissistic arsonist is saying, whose brother claims to live in Portugal but is actually locked in a Madrid apartment to prevent him from testifying or filing taxes. Listen to him again.
You'll allow me the joke, right? There are some colleagues who obviously ask me to call early elections because they're aware that I'm going to have a bigger parliamentary majority in the government and in Congress, so I can govern much more calmly. And I appreciate it. But I can't call elections for partisan interests. I have to call elections in the public interest. And the public interest, as of today, with wars all over the world, with crises that require effective and also fair responses from the general state administration. It's the stability and consolidation of policies that are precisely allowing us to overcome the social and economic consequences of these crises.
Unbelievable. Are you listening to this? Allow me. I think this is the face of total cynicism, of sheer nerve, of a guy who's trapped, who wants to extend the term as much as possible. He doesn't want to call elections. His wife is facing a public trial. Will she be convicted? The brother who is going to trial, Avalos, who has already been on trial, what about on trial? It's that they're all involved. Zapatero is going to trial. What else has to happen in Spain? Well, what does our friend say here? No.
He refuses to call early elections, even though he doesn't have a parliamentary majority, hasn't had a budget for 3 years, and his political circle...
There hasn't been a budget in Spain for 3 years. There is no budget. First, because there was a volcanic eruption, then because there was an earthquake, after the earthquake, because there was a storm, after the storm. There was a train accident, after the train accident, because there was an attack in Gaza. After the attack in Gaza came the one in Lebanon. After Lebanon came the one in Iran. And now we already know. Well, after that, the antivirus came, and now Ebola is coming, because Pedro Sanchez has also started talking about Ebola. We still haven't. It's just that we haven't had time to do the Ebola program, and I've already been wanting to do it for a week. Now there are more than 1,000 cases. Borders have been closed with some African countries. Things are bad with this Ebola situation. Well, Carlos Karaormi, Gon, doesn't have a budget.
His personal circle racks up legal cases almost every week, including today. At that very hour, while the Pope and the President were meeting at the Vatican, agents from the UCO, the Central Operational Unit of the Civil Guard, entered the national headquarters of the PSOE in Madrid.
And look, the judge doesn't send the UCO unless he has evidence. He doesn't send the UCO in there.
They're loaded with backpacks and computers.
Look, the cables for cloning. Half a dozen. They're carrying laptops with hard drives for cloning.
A group of civil guards were taking part at that moment in the search at the socialist headquarters, looking for information about the... Look at them, all there.
Themselves for today. A lot happened. You'll laugh, but there was also a blackout. There's no budget due to the blackout.
The Fontanera case. This happened today. But according to Judge Santiago Pedras, what happened today is a result of what happened 2 years and 1 month ago.
What happened 2 years and 1 month ago? Do you remember when Pedro got very melancholic, like Romeo and Juliet? He felt very hurt because his wife was being harassed, and he said he would take 5 days to think about whether he would continue being the president of Spain or not. He sent a letter to the citizens. He told the Spaniards, I need to think and reflect on whether it's worth it for me to be the president of Spain or not. He just did that in those 5 days. He was with his wife, hugging her, consoling her. He took her on vacation, took her shopping, to a restaurant, to the movies. They went on a boat ride. Pay attention.
April of 2024. And it started with this letter. When his wife being placed under judicial investigation became known, Pedro Sanchez announced that he was stepping back to reflect for 5 days, because, as he said, he wasn't sure it was worth it to continue leading the government.
The man wasn't sure. He wasn't sure. No, he wasn't very sure about it.
From that political spectacle where a president takes 5 days to decide whether to remain in office, the poor guy was given mental health leave. Everything starts from that episode, 2 days after Pedro Sanchez published that letter. His right-hand man in the party, Santos Cerdán, met at the PSOE headquarters.
Oh my God. Oh my God. This is epic.
His press chief, John Antolin, his former chief of staff, Juan Manuel Serrano, and the PSOE's fixer, Leire Diez.
The PSOE's fixer.
And his partner in those fixer duties.
Fixer work. This looks like a Leroy Merlin store.
The businessman Javier Pérez Dolcet. According to the judge, That meeting is considered the turning point because it was there that they decided to coordinate and carry out potentially criminal actions with the purpose of destabilizing judicial or police proceedings that could impact the interests of the PSOE or the government.
In other words, they created a working group, or what he's trying to say, so that people can understand it in basic Spanish. Diciendo, están investigándonos. We created a group to go after dissidents and people who are reporting corruption within the Socialist Party, including police officers, prosecutors, and judges who are investigating us. They started a witch hunt, a manhunt. They started looking for dirt on everyone to try to discredit the investigative work being done by the Spanish justice system. Let's keep going. This is the mafia.
Cerdán decided Gaspar Zarrías would pay Leire a monthly salary and that the party would issue invoices to pay La Fontanera. In exchange, La Fontanera and her partner would look for sensitive information about judges, prosecutors, police officers, and civil guard officers with the intention of, who knows, maybe blackmailing them and preventing them from continuing with investigations into cases that affected the PSOE, the government, and Pedro Sanchez's circle.
No, but Pedro Sanchez says that there is judicial independence in Spain and that there are guarantees, for fuck's sake.
For example, Leire said in a meeting with some of these defendants that they had to look for information that could harm one of the UCO chiefs, Lieutenant Colonel Antonio Balas.
All of that. And Antonio Balas is the one who's currently putting the pressure on Pedro Sanchez.
It was paid for with money from the PSOE. That is, the judge considers that the PSOE illegally financed its own dirty operations.
But the question is, of course, the title says Trump and the Mossad. All those recorded conversations that had been recorded for years. Who recorded them? Who recorded them? There was a plane in the Dominican Republic ready to take Zapatero to the United States if he arrived. From what people have been saying, it seems there was a plane waiting for him to invite him to visit. Nicolás Maduro.
And today, what the judge has issued is what in legal terms is known as a legal demand. But in practice and in common language, it's a full-fledged search.
A search. 12 hours. Of course. How is it possible that the conversations, the majority of these cases, the Ábalos case, the Leire case, and others, are phone conversations? Written and spoken. Who tapped them? Who had all those recordings? Why are they coming out now?
In that same court order, it is also stated that the group allegedly offered 50,000 euros to the businesswoman Carmen Pano to change her statement about the money she says she brought in bags to the PSOE headquarters. The businesswoman, who is under investigation in other cases, testified before the judge that she had brought 90,000 euros in cash to the PSOE headquarters in Ferraz.
Wow, 90,000 bucks? $1,000 in a little bag to the Ferraz headquarters. Well, and of course, now give the UCO time to start opening the boxes of what they've taken. Let's see what they've already found inside. After seeing Zapatero's jewelry, have you seen what Zapatero had in his safe? I'm not sure if the Heritage Office or Royal House has something like that. Please. Just imagine you get home one night and you say to your wife, hey, we're going out to dinner, put on your ruby necklace. If that's too uncomfortable or heavy, wear the sapphire one instead. Done. Well, according to Zapatero and his circle, this cost 30,000 euros. If it costs 30,000 euros, I'll buy them tomorrow. If what we're seeing in the photo Forget about the watches. The watches are the least important thing. If everything we see there is full of diamonds, sapphires, and so on, it's 30,000 euros tomorrow. I go and buy it. I ask for a loan and I buy it. Those bastards. No, but they say it's the inheritance. They say it's the woman's inheritance. Well, but the woman was the illegitimate daughter of some random king from who knows where. Have they been in the Tower of London stealing jewels? I don't know about this. Was this Lady Diaz or Dios? Who the hell did this belong to? No. Well, this looks like something out of a movie, one of those medieval movies, because this was worn in the medieval era. Some big rocks. Look, I've been looking just out of curiosity. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Jewelry. Let's take a look in a store. Doesn't matter who. Zafira Jewelry. Let's check around here. I just want to see the prices. Look. That's great. That's great. I don't know how many carats that thing we're seeing in the photo has, but just so you get an idea, a 6-carat sapphire H01, 645.25, costs 37,953 euros. The one I'm looking at seems a bit smaller than the one we're seeing there. I mean, one of these rocks for 40,000. Maybe they bought it on Temu, since Zapatero used to go to China a lot. Maybe over there on Alibaba, they found a jeweler who makes precious stones for them. Crazy. Crazy.
Well, there's another interesting and unexpected aspect in Judge Pedraz's order that could have political implications, because he has asked the UCO to request documentation from the PSOE about Salvador Ila's campaign in the 2024 Catalan regional elections. In addition to these questions about Salvador Ila's campaign and the UCO entering the PSOE headquarters, Judge Pedraz has authorized the search of other locations. They are looking for documents, devices, accounts that could show how they proceeded, and jewelry, a scheme in their attempt to destabilize judicial proceedings. And these are the people under investigation that you are about to see. The judge sees signs of responsibility, at least as an accomplice, in the manager of the PSOE, Ana Maria Fuentes, who remains in her position. And the others are charged with up to 9 crimes: criminal organization, bribery, disclosure of secrets, inducement to perjury.
The police accusation is serious.
Forgery of a commercial document, malfeasance, influence peddling, and a crime against the institutions of the state.
But there are no elections.
9 crimes.
There are no elections.
The news until yesterday was former President Zapatero. Today's news is the case of the PSOE fixer.
Who knows what will come tomorrow? Let's see what comes tomorrow. What are those media outlets that love us so much saying? What happened outside the PSOE headquarters on Ferraz Street? Please don't laugh, don't laugh, please don't laugh. They brought the mariachis.
They brought the...
While the UCO was inside, they were livening up the afternoon for her during the search.
But you're going to be very sad.
They sang the Rat low-life chant to her. They all sang it to her. They even brought a guy with a violin to play Titanic for her. This is the moment when the UCO comes out of there after 12 hours of the search. Of course, because the Lauco people said, you're messing with our stuff down there. You're getting fellow officers investigated by internal affairs. You're putting a burden on the force. You're breaking it. This is where we draw the line. And they said, well, let's go after them. We're going after them. We're going to get all the documents and show what they're doing. Yeah. This is it. There's no turning back now. There's no turning back now. The thing with the mariachis was, it's just been incredible. The thing with the mariachis has been, listen, but this, no, I haven't seen another country that does this. It was David Santos. I'll ask him later to see if it was him or someone else, but by the way, I love this song. Then you'll say, I don't play music for you. Amazing. If it was David Santos, that's great. I'll talk to him later to see what he tells me about this. Let's see, David. I just messaged him. Not sure if he's awake. He was streaming recently. This is just amazing. But wait, here comes the other one. The ship is sinking. The ship is sinking. The ship is sinking. Titanic. This is like the Titanic, but completely insane. What are the media outlets in heartbreak mode saying on TV? We need to open a heartbreak room next to Ferraz. Who doesn't know it? The heartbreak room exists in many countries. It's a place where people go when they're heartbroken to listen to this kind of music, to shout, and to console themselves, right? Well, they urgently need a heartbreak room there in the PSOE room. What are the media saying? This is magnificent. Well, there was a parliamentary committee today in Spain. They were asking the government about the UCO thing. And this happened. In the middle of the parliamentary session, there's no other time of the year, there's no other moment in the year when this happens.
We are informed that at this moment, an evacuation drill is about to begin. Please leave the chamber and follow the instructions given by the emergency teams. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Evacuation of the chamber. Every man for himself. Well, and then they say it's like the Titanic. They're starting to evacuate the chamber. Unbelievable. No, a lot has happened. A lot has happened here. Very incredible things. Very, very, very incredible. The PSOE spokesperson got a phone call while she was in the chamber. And she fled. She fled. Afterwards, after the drill, half of the PSOE didn't come back. They all went home. People fled. Operation, another valley.
He came back. For now.
But what are they saying around here?
Additionally, the UCO has entered the headquarters of the Civil Guard Directorate General in Madrid.
The Civil Guard itself entering the headquarters of the Civil Guard. Do you want more examples that Spain is a country free of corruption? What a mess Mossad has made. What a mess they've made.
Now, what are they looking for?
Man, what do they say they're looking for?
Well, they're also looking by order of Judge Bedras for confidential information on agents who were investigating cases that affected the Socialist Party.
And also the UCO.
The police. Investigating the police. My God. My God, that. And now what? What's next? So what's next tomorrow? Will they search Zapatero's house? Well, I think they should search it. 1 second. Let's see if we can bring our friend David Santos here. That's great. You have to tell me about the mariachis live here. But let's see. What do these people come up with? Let's see. Strategies. Okay? Let's see. All right. I'll send the link to David if he wants to join. This is incredible. This is incredible. I'm unsure about Spain's future. I think something bad is going to happen. It seems something bad will happen. And this doesn't look good. This doesn't look good. Oh my God. Well, now let's see if David comes by and tells us a bit about all this stuff. What are they saying out there too? Well, let's see. Let's see. They're magnificent.
The search at Ferraz was the most extensive of the 5 operations conducted. Also at the General Directorate of the Civil Guard, in the office of the veteran socialist Gaspar Zarrias, at the house of the businessman Javier Pérez Predolcet, and outside Madrid as well, at the home of the former PSOE organization secretary Santos Zerdan.
I don't know. In the end, all they were missing was searching the synagogue to see if there was anything there. I don't know.
In the town of Milagro in Navarra, there are 10 people under investigation in the ongoing case. The aforementioned Zerdan, Zarrias, and Dolcet, along with Leire Diez and the manager at party headquarters, Ana Fuentes. Also one of Zerdan's and Coldo Garcia's lawyers, a Guardia civil officer, and 2 prominent socialist leaders. As we mentioned, one of the most striking operations took place at the Civil Guard headquarters, which was searched by the Civil Guard.
The Civil Guard? Searching the Civil Guard?
Let's find out the reasons why the Civil Guard entered that headquarters. Malena Guerra.
Let's see, Malena, how do you explain it?
Yes, well, Lieutenant Colonel Balas and his guards have...
Which is Lieutenant Colonel Balas's last name. Let's go,
have come in here to take statements from your fellow disciplinary regime members.
They have taken statements from the internal affairs officers.
They received the order to investigate them and their UCO commanders, says the judge. So
the UCO went to interrogate those who were investigating the UCO. Hey, you're investigating us. We're going to interrogate you. Who gave the order to investigate us? What's the reason? What evidence is there? Who is the one who directed this investigation? What documentation is there? What's the origin? This is a bombshell. This is a bombshell in every sense. Just a moment. David Santos is nearby. We'll bring him over. This is amazing. Bombshell. David Santos, good evening. I'm not sure if David can hear us. David, can you hear us?
I can't hear. I don't know if I'm live, right?
You're live, David. Can you hear us? 1 second. Let's see if David can hear us. Let's see. I'm talking to you, David. David is here. Yes, he's gone deaf from the mariachis. Let's see.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
David, let's see. Now,
David.
David. Testing. Hello, test. Hello.
Hello. Now I can hear you. Yes, sorry. I'm not familiar with this platform. Can you hear me well?
Yes, man. I can hear you loud and clear. Hey, what's this about the mariachis?
Well, this is an idea that came to me so I could join the party from afar.
But one question, did you pay for this with one of those weird funds, or is this all paid and declared?
No, I fronted it myself. I paid for it myself. And there were also people who helped pay for the mariachis. So, well, I just went for it and said, let's go there to join the party a bit too from afar, right? Because I live in Malaga, I live 500 kilometers away. And many times when I see these kinds of things happening, I feel a bit powerless, because if I lived in Madrid, I would have been there outside Ferraz all day today, right?
David Santos, for those who don't know him, is one of the most interesting content creators about things happening in Spain. We're both Spanish, but I don't focus much on Spain. There's David, who's a genius, doing the things he does with a bunch of friends. David, this is from this week. This is a bombshell with the civil guard investigating itself.
The civil guard investigating, the civil guard and Judge Pedraz directly pointing for the first time at Pedro Sanchez as the Juan. Yes, this is a bombshell. In fact, I don't know if you've seen tomorrow's ABC front page, but ABC literally points the finger at Pedro Sanchez with a photo of Pedro Sanchez, where it says that all the corruption is Sanchez's. I mean, there have been a lot of people indicted. Well, they've also indicted people linked to the Socialist Party's accounts. So it's already very difficult for Pedro Sanchez to get out of this, right? I think we're living in the era of the end of the Sanchez era, right? I think so. Anyway.
But it's normal. Look, the cover we've made today for the show we're doing right now is Trump and the Mossad corner Sanchez, because it's too much of a coincidence. Seriously. I'm not being a conspiracy theorist, but it's too much of a coincidence that Pedro Sanchez has been going after Israel and Donald Trump for 3 months. And suddenly, in 1 week, it seems like there's a catastrophe with Zapatero, with the daughters, with the jewelry.
Well, look, that's the theory that the left is pushing right now. The most pro-Sanchez groups specifically are saying that there's a coordinated attack by the Popular Party and Vox. In fact, they claim that this week there was a meeting between Abascal, Feijóo, and Ayuso at the American embassy, and that from there they're orchestrating some kind of judicial coup. I have another theory, and the theory I have is that, well, just to keep it short, the theory I have is that El Pollo Carvajal is talking a lot in the United States, and that Julio Martinez, Zapatero's close friend, Julito Martinez, is also on the verge of being called in by U.S. authorities. I think that's what has led the Spanish justice system to want to push, to go after Zapatero, to charge Zapatero, basically to throw him a lifeline, and that if he has to choose the lesser evil, he should choose to settle things with the Spanish justice system and not with the U.S. justice system. Even so, the theory I have about what's happening with Pedro Sanchez is pretty much the same as always. There has been, in short, corruption from both major parties, the Popular Party and the Socialist Party. But there's a difference. There's a difference, my friend. There's a difference. And the thing is, no prime minister had ever attacked the civil guard, the national police, and the judicial system as much as Pedro Sanchez is doing. What I believe, and it's the theory that I, have developed a bit with the live stream I did today, what I think is that what we have, or what we're experiencing right now, it's an uprising both from the police and the civil guard, and from and from the judges, some judges against this coup d'etat that Pedro Sanchez has been carrying out for quite some time. Well, by denigrating all these institutions and directly destroying the separation of powers, right? That's the theory I believe. Obviously, it's possible that the United States is behind this. Well, I don't rule it out, but I also don't rule out that. precisely the position Pedro Sanchez has with the Trump administration is exactly because they sense this could happen at any moment.
In the investigation about Zapatero, I was reading the other day, there are international connections and there are statements that the United States Embassy itself provided information to the UDEF, the Property Crimes Unit. That is to say, right now, there must be an international connection between investigative groups from the United States, France, Switzerland. I think they were also working on it. And even from Israel, which must be really tough on these guys. Hey, did you see Pedro Sanchez said today he's not calling elections because he claims he'd win easily? What is this?
What the hell is this?
If you'll pardon the expression, I think this guy is already letting it all hang out, right? I mean, it's just constant messing around and thinking he's untouchable. And honestly, what I think he's showing is that he's really, really nervous. He tried to make a joke, tried to crack a joke. In fact, if you'll excuse the joke, but honestly, it went really badly for him. I think his subconscious betrayed him. In fact, look, I mean, to the audience that's watching you, and I'm also a follower of your show, but of course, obviously with everything that's happening in Spain, it's complicated. It's impossible. Notice that what has been discovered today is that for the first time in history, since the government of Felipe González, I mean, a dirty covert network has been created by the prime minister, by the party that's in power, similar to the GAL, right? With some differences, of course. The GAL was dedicated to kidnapping and killing people, some of them ETA members. But what were they really doing? These sewers, led by Leire Diaz and secretly headed in the shadows by Santos Zerdan and by the boss, which is Pedro Sanchez, it basically consisted of using money from the Socialist Party to bribe people who were bringing accusations against the Socialist Party, like prosecutors, members of the civil guard, the police, judges. I mean, this is extremely serious. There is even talk about leaking sexual videos of some prosecutor as well to blackmail him, right? I mean, what we're seeing right now is a cesspool. And in fact, I think they should intervene already. I don't know, maybe the European Union or at least the head of state should also speak out or say something, which I think is what they're there for.
Right? I see this as pretty complicated. You know what I see in this situation? That for us too, for people who create content, lately strange things have also been happening to us. Live streams get cut off, channels get taken down, they mass report you. I think all of this has to be related to this as well.
Man, if we have a government that's capable of creating a structure within using party money to attack judges, prosecutors, civil guard officers, national police, using media outlets and friendly journalists. In fact, I think the next ones to be charged will be some journalists as well. If they do that with people who have power and authority in Spain, imagine what they can do to content creators. In fact, I don't know if you know, there was a meeting not long ago, about a month ago in Brussels. In this regard, several CEOs from different platforms, including YouTube, met there. And they were starting, let's say, to influence how much visibility many content creators could have if they weren't aligned with the different authorities. And we already know that both you and I, as well as many others, are not looked upon very favorably. No?
No. Honestly, no. Well, we'll see. Hey, let's see how the weekend...
Well, I hope it ends either with a motion of no confidence being presented or with some government partner withdrawing their support. And we have a general election as soon as possible. I hope it ends that way. But knowing Spain and the Spanish people, don't be surprised if this guy keeps holding on until 2027.
Yes, I think he's going to stay. I think he's going to go after that. Hey, there's something that really worries my community, and I know you're following it very closely. The border police in Spain are already talking about 1,500,000 people who are going to be naturalized.
Well, initially regularized.
Regularized. But what is the real plan behind all this? I mean, is there a chance they could vote next year or not?
Well, let's see. People who are regularized after obtaining citizenship can only vote in municipal elections. Therefore, they cannot vote in either regional or national elections. But the fact that these people can vote in municipal elections, when next year we're going to have an election cycle, already disrupts the voter rolls. I mean, it disrupts the current state we have, and it disrupts what elections are supposed to be. In fact, no, but literally, I would actually call it that the government is carrying out and executing a real electoral fraud. It's true that they can't vote in the national elections, but it's also true that among these regularized people, there are already practically between 1.5 million and 2.5 million people who, thanks to the grandchildren law, will obtain citizenship automatically. And those people will be able to vote in general elections. In other words, they are being regularized. In fact, more than 500,000 requests have already been received to apply under the grandchildren law, and only about 5,000 or 7,000 applications have been rejected. I don't have the exact number right now, but it was a very small figure compared to all the applications that were being accepted. Therefore, those people will indeed be able to vote in general elections.
Oh my God. David, Vintes is tomorrow, right? What time?
Me, as always, 9:15, 9:30, doing live streams. Unless something scandalous happens like today, then I go live. And I sit here to enjoy what's happening.
Somehow, David, thank you very much. Your channel is now in the chat. Many have subscribed to David Santos, and maybe I'll visit one day too. We'll have a chat for a while.
Thank you so much. I love your content and appreciate the live stream invites. Best of luck. Keep it up and keep pushing hard.
Thank you so much, David. Take care.
Best regards to you and your whole community. Take care. Good night.
There was David Santos, the mariachi man. What a legend. The mariachi thing was great. So nice. I'll join in next time. Next time, I'll join in and do something. Next time, I'll join in and do something. Maybe send you a story. Let's join in on this. This is fun. You have to add some humor to it. To all this mess. The political mess in this country is tremendous and awful. We were talking about the reactions on television. This is whitewashing. This is total whitewashing. And whitewashing as well. Anyway, listen to him.
Hello, Angel. Tell me something. Is it normal for the civil guard to come in to request information or documents anywhere, an office, a political party, and not ask for it by electronic means, by fax, as you mentioned before? And no, but the question is, if it's normal, maybe the problem is the way it's being blown out of proportion.
That's the issue. I mean, it's about moderation. You have to have a bit of moderation in all of this. The two fundamental elements you mentioned from the first headline were false. It wasn't a search, nor was it about illegal financing.
It's not a search. They were there for 12 hours having coffee at the PSOE offices. The UCO had nothing else to do. The UCO agents and Mr. Balas had nothing else to do but go in there and have coffee for 12 hours. There was no search.
Someone has been compromised.
Well, Cadena Ser, for those who don't know it, since there are a lot of people from outside, this is totally left-wing radio, paid for by the government, funded by the government. Government spokesperson.
This whole procedure is absolutely normal for a court to send officials as part of judicial assistance, in this case the judicial police from the UCO, to request information, not to carry out a search, because there hasn't been a search. They sat down at the Farras headquarters and told them, by court order, we have this request for information. Do you have this information?
Of course. And they spent 12 hours there because they couldn't find the printer to print the information documents. Right? Miguel Angel Campos? They spent 12 hours searching for a printer to print the document. It's just making fun of everyone, making fun of the citizens, making fun of the people who hear this, who usually have no idea, honestly, about what's going on. They see 4 things, 5 things, 20 things. This is just a shameful country.
And the officials who have closed,
they took care of it. Campos, If this outlet hadn't reported it, the entry would have been quiet. Maybe we'd have found out later. But what's happening at Feraz's door now wouldn't be.
And above all, it has been manipulated because, as I said, it's not about a search. It's a request from the authorities. No,
it's not a search, but the judge writes search in the order. But now Miguel Angel Campos says it's not a search. I don't know what you all are thinking right now in the chat, but to me, this seems just terrible. It's horrible. People are watching live right now as the Spanish government falls in stages like never before. Well, I think Pedro just posted. Let's see. Let's check if he's spoken again. No. Pedro is sleeping right now. He's thinking about whether he's going to stay as president or not. With this story, it's incredible. Incredible.
Hundreds occur over time.
Let Miguel Angel Campos correct me if I'm wrong, but last year in the Santos Cerdán case, several information requests were sent to different construction companies, among them Asisiona, and nobody was sent. A fax was sent. No,
it was sent to the UCO. It was also sent to the Judicial Police, to all the offices where it was being carried out.
All right. Mañaneros. Spanish television. Take note of this. This is sublime. Sublime.
This is what is said and what is inferred from a message that says 10,000.
10K done. There's a message from Julio Martinez, who is Zapatero's economic lackey. He's the one going around making the deals. He's Zapatero's front man. Allegedly, there are indications. He sends him a message and says, 10K, done. 10K. Let's see who can guess what 10K means. Mañaneros. Javier Ruiz.
It is assumed that 10K is not a 10-kilometer race. There is no other possibility except that 10,000 euros have been paid.
Zapatero, Rodolfo Reyes, and Julio Martinez run 10-kilometer races, 10Ks. What happens is that this one is missing the... It's missing the M. No. Javier, the M for kilometers. It's KM. I can tell you that for us, in statistics, it shows as 10K for 10,000 followers and hours of viewing. 10K. But I don't know. 10,000 euros, $10,000, 10,000 shekels, 10,000 shekels, 10,000 shekels.
This is what is being said.
It's whitewashing. This is total, complete whitewashing. They don't know. They don't even know what to say anymore. The time of living off the system is coming to an end. They're seeing it get worse and worse. They're seeing it get much worse. Much worse. What David Santos, Pollo Carvajal said, he must already be starting to squeal. Singing like a canary. Starting to lay it all out here. All the filth inside the Spanish government. It's terrible. And now what? Will there be elections or not? Well, no, there aren't going to be elections unless a no confidence motion is made. But since all the people on the left are in cahoots with this guy, I mean, there won't be any of that. There won't be anything. It's going to get messy. It's going to get messy. That's it. They're going to dig in on what they have to dig in on. That's it. And it's that simple. Mines in Venezuela. Oil sold. The news about Zapatero is incredible. Commissions on 2 million barrel super tankers. shipping schedules and times. The Zapatero connection. Sanchez, PSOE, Venezuela, China. Brutal. Brutal. But this is going to give us headline after headline. And it's going to give us days and days of seeing things like this. Incredible. Incredible. What did Gabriel Rufián say? Rufián. What did Rufián say in front of Rufián? 24 hours ago, he said this. Actions.
Moción de confianza.
Everyone knows, until there is a Gürtel case for the PSOE, a case of irregular financing, I think it's consistent. We removed Rajoy for setting up an irregular financing scheme for his party, and we would ask for elections if the same thing happened with the PSOE.
Yes, sir. Yesterday he was calling for elections if there was a case of illegal financing. And said this, no.
If it goes to trial and above all there's a final verdict, we would call for elections.
Until there's a final verdict. Yesterday, a case. Today, a verdict. Next, it will be until they go to jail. This is Spain, the government, because they're partners. They're partners. Zapatero. The humble man from the peace. Zapatero. The one who used to say that being a socialist means giving a lot and receiving little. Let's go with the super chats. Let's check out the comments from the military strategies community. I'm just amazed by the story. This country could have been on top, but look at it. Now, hopefully, one day it will be where it should be. Sergio and Ana, thank you both. Estrategia. Hope you're well. Your loyal followers need you more than you realize. Move to Israel. You'll definitely be more at ease. I don't rule it out. Abraham Fernandez, thank you very much. The CNI should look into everything, not just Zapatero. No, the government controls the CNI. Javi, thank you very much. Marisa, nothing remains hidden between heaven and earth. I've never seen a president of his government surrounded by friendly journalists in Spain, and I'm quite old. Israel, just leave them in any of the 50-plus crescent countries, which seems to satisfy them. Regards strategies. He's referring to those from the flotilla who have been kidnapped, the flotilla members. And they're going to go rescue Gaza. Glory to Israel, it will endure. I love your channel. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Mati says, thank you so much, Mati. Best regards. Welcome to Military Strategies. Gaza, a Spanish jeweler claimed only some of what they showed is real. The pieces with their carats totaled €1 million, and if genuine, would be worth 4 times that. No, probably. Puma, congratulations. Sara, they say strategy is Zapatero's wife. She's the granddaughter of Tutankhamun. Look, I've been to the Cairo Museum. I've seen the grave goods of some mummies. I've seen things like these. Not even an Egyptian mummy has something like this. Excuse me. I'll let you consider the creator's weight. A contact of a contact isn't a contact. It's a request for information. It's a search. That's a nice hand. Like this one. The record of a record is not a record. By the way, there's a new antivirus case. And the Ebola situation is worsening. Revealing truths. Thank you, strategies. Thank you all. Sara, 10 memberships. Thank you very much. Julio, all those corrupt people should be jailed. We need a secot in Spain. We need to build a secot for this. I'm glad for your country, Estrategias, that the government is falling and hope it happens soon. Pablo, welcome. Military Strategies. The problem is that people are afraid to vote for new ideologies or new parties, or they don't really see anyone who can get Spain out of the situation it's in right now. It's a country that needs ideological regeneration. There needs to be renewal. We need to break with everything we know and have something new. It has to, in my opinion, my own opinion. I never talk about this, okay, because I don't like it. I think it has to come to. That's it. Thank you. Country, reestructur, arciso, ostrimientos hasta el tejazo, restructure from the ground up to the roof. The country. That's all. When everything is organized. That's all. When everything is restructured, organized, and clean, then let there be elections and let everyone run with the same guarantees. First of all, one vote should be one vote. Because in Spain, not all citizens' votes are worth the same. Votes from certain regions are worth more than those from others. That's not fair. We are all Spaniards, and we all have equal value. There are thousands of things that need to be changed in Spain. Thousands of things. Someone needs to come along with that project. Just change the current situation to ensure a real, clean, corruption-free democracy. Protect the rights of others, of everyone. Afterwards, others can come in, play politics, and argue however they want. But that scenario doesn't exist because everything is corrupt. And we need someone honest, intelligent, who doesn't need the president's salary, who already has enough money, so they have no need to steal. Because the organizations, the positions, the seats of power corrupt human beings. It's that simple. Until we get to that point, we're going to keep dealing with the same old story for a few more years. Family, thank you so much for joining us live. Really, it's been a real pleasure. 16,000 people. We're still missing a lot of likes. See you tomorrow. We have a bunch of headlines prepared. What's going on with Iran? What's happening with Donald J. Trump? What's going on with the UFOs? Yes, that's what you heard. What's up with the UFOs? I keep thinking and seeing things that drive me crazier every day. And also, we have new updates about the scientists who disappeared in the United States. What's behind all of that? Tomorrow here on Military Strategy. Greetings, family.